Those doors, I'm a fool for your love.
Good morning, everyone. We are chatting with the lovely Stephanie Gobbo, who is a clinical naturopath and nutritionist from Willow Urban Retreat in Armidale. And she is an absolute wealth of knowledge in this field, not to mention an absolute beautiful human being. Her list is endless about what she treats and deals with, everything from gastrointestinal problems to food allergies, sleep problems, anxiety, insomnia, skin conditions, gut health, immunity. Literally, the list goes on and on. So I will let Steph jump on now and we will get into it.
Hello, happy Monday.
Yes, happy Monday. So I was thinking we start maybe around the immune system because that's such a prevalent topic at the moment. And, you know, we are coming into winter and there's also still a bit of fear, I think, around pandemic illness and everything that we've been dealing with. So I guess how can one kind of go about preparing and strengthening their immune system for the coming climate?
Okay, so basically what we want to be boosting is our zinc, our vitamin D, essential fatty acids. We want to make sure that there's no deficiency in the body as well. So for example, if you've been told that you've got low zinc or low vitamin D, that's something that we really want to increase with a supplement, but then also through our diet. So making sure there's no deficiencies is really important for your immune system. And then obviously eating lots of good nourishing foods, anti-inflammatory foods, and immune boosting foods. So that is things like foods that are rich in zinc. So that's going to be sort of red meat, leafy greens, nuts and seeds, all your great vegetables. Vitamin C rich foods are all our colourful fruits, so berries, but then also things like papaya. And then also what we want to do is look after our gut immunity as well. So we actually have about 70 to 80% of our immune system reside in our gut. So if your digestion is a little bit off, or you have irritable bowel or one of those diagnosed gut conditions, we really want to work on improving your digestive health, but then also nourishing the microbiome, fermented foods, so that's things like kombucha and sauerkraut, bone broth, all those warming spices. So there's so much we can do through our immune system, through our diet, but then also through supplements if we need to as well.
So what are some of the main things for people to look out for to know whether they might have a zinc deficiency or a certain vitamin deficiency if they haven't yet been able to go and actually get checked by someone?
Yeah, so zinc, we get lots of physical signs and symptoms. So that might be, really poor wound healing. So zinc really reflects in our skin, which is something that I've been talking to a lot of people about at the moment, because a lot of my patients are sort of suffering from breakouts or eye or worsening of eczema or psoriasis or those kind of things. So that can be an indication that your zinc is low, or if your wound healing is really poor. So you get a cut or a graze and it doesn't heal for a long time, that can be an indication of zinc. Mouth ulcers, that's a really big sign that you've got low zinc levels or that you're a bit run down or compromised. And things like, your B vitamins and magnesium, that can just be, fatigue or headaches or muscle cramping. So our body really does sort of talk to us and show us signs and symptoms if we're deficient in things as well.
And I guess also with everything that's going on at the moment, stress and anxiety play a big factor in a lot of people's lives. And we know that can be hugely detrimental on our immune system. So if people are feeling these kinds of things and these kinds of pressures, how can they kind of go about relieving some of that?
Yeah, so that's definitely something that I'm talking to a lot with my patients in clinic and via telehealth at the moment. A lot of the people are feeling overwhelmed, a little bit more stressed, a bit more anxious. There's been a lot of change going on, so it's really normal. I definitely recommend, reaching out and talking to people if you're needing that. So whether it's a family or a counselor or a psychologist, beautiful things like massage and acupuncture is all opening at the moment, so that's really great to have that physical support, but definitely getting into good sleep routines, that's going to help stress, anxiety, energy. Meditation is clinically proven to really help lower anxiety, and then some nutrients that you can be boosting is definitely your magnesium and B vitamins. That's really important for stress hormones and treating anxiety. And then also making sure you're not having too many stimulants, so not too much caffeine, not too much, like alcohol, that can worsen anxiety. So it's about our lifestyle as well.
Totally. I've definitely found that having someone to keep me accountable for these kinds of things has helped, like meditating with my housemates or something, so we kind of stay on top of those practices and having that kind of support network, I guess. It's been really helpful.
And it's interesting as well. I've been sort of encouraging a lot of my patients to use their usual sort of commute time to work for something self-care wise. So whether it's exercise or meditation or even having a sleep in if you need it. So you know, some people have a different routine at the moment, and I'm just sort of encouraging people to take full advantage of that and give back to your health a little bit.
Totally. And then, so going back to sleep, what are some more like key things that people could take if they actually are struggling to sleep at night? Some things that might assist with that.
Yeah, so sleep, that's another one that really, you know, we can't sort of supplement out, you know, a bad sleep hygiene pattern. We really need to work on the sleep hygiene side of things, but then there is lots of great natural medicine you can take for sleep as well. Definitely, like I said, magnesium is up there. That's really helpful. Something called GABA, which is one of our natural anti-anxiety neurotransmitters. But then also there's great herbal medicine that can calm down the nervous system for sleep. But the best tip that I'm giving everyone is get the electronics out of the bedroom. I know it's so hard. Everyone's sort of on Netflix in bed. But that blue light from the screen actually blocks our melatonin production, and our melatonin is our sleep hormone. So by blocking that melatonin production from the screen lights, that's not giving us the best chance to sort of fall into that great sleep cycle either.
Yeah,
and also
definitely.
How you're moving your body as well. If you're working at home all day and you're not doing any exercise, that's not, you know, your body's not tired either. So exercise is so key to sleep quality.
So I feel like quite a few people might have felt like they've slipped out of their normal routine, off the bandwagon a bit, whether it's they're not exercising enough or they're eating the wrong foods, maybe they're not drinking enough water, or maybe they're drinking too much alcohol, these kinds of things. Have you seen that happen with some of your patients? What do you recommend for people who are just feeling like it's all kind of fallen off the bandwagon now?
Yeah, so I think initially in that first month of sort of leading into lockdown and then being locked down, a lot of people's routines went out the window, and a lot of people would sort of have a glass of wine every night and things like that. But then as people got into the new normal and it became sort of the new routine, that was probably a little bit easier for people to get back into their routine. So I just sort of say, don't worry about the wagon falling off, let's get back on, and let's definitely try and make this new normal you know, a healthier routine, and also use this kind of rare time at home where we can improve our health in different ways, because a lot of people do have a little bit more time, missing that commute potentially. They can nourish themselves at home with their food and cooking a little bit more. So I'm trying to take full advantage of what we can do at home, and then get into some good, healthier routines. But, you know, the daily alcohol intake, that definitely, you know, worsens anxiety, but also can really dampen our system as well. So, and that's the same with coffee and, you know, all the fun stuff. But we need to sort of
always
be really mindful that we've got some clean, healthy regimes during the week.
Yeah. Okay. So you touched again a little bit on nutrition and foods that might support the body. I know we spoke a little bit about it, but what are some more foods that people could incorporate into their diets? I know you do some incredible recipes across your Instagram, so maybe you can share a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. So I definitely like the Chinese medicine way of thinking that we eat more warming foods as we come into the winter. This helps our immune system, but also our digestion. So even your simple kind of chicken soups and minestrone soups, anything that's made with a bone broth base. So replacing stock for a bone broth, lots of herbs and spices, garlic and onion are really immune boosting, turmeric and ginger are very anti-inflammatory, and then adding in lots and lots of veggies, that's going to be the perfect thing for, you know, your gut immunity and your systemic immune system. But definitely, you know, it's what we kind of steer away from as well, like I said. So too much sugar is very inflammatory to the body and can dampen the immune system, whereas all your normal things, good fruits and veggies, all of that is really, really good for us. So getting a great variety into your diet is really important as well, and also just getting back to home cooking. by the slow mantra. So seasonal, local, organic, whole food. So if you can do, a version of that, that would be incredible. There's lots of root vegetables, so pumpkin, sweet potato, all those kind of things. Steer away from all of the packaged processed foods, and your nutrition and overall health is going to be so much better.
You also briefly mentioned earlier about skin, and I have seen a lot of people on social media complain that their skin has kind of flared up during lockdown, whether it's gotten too dry or whether they've had breakouts. Why do you think this might be, and what are your recommendations for people who might be suffering these kinds of issues?
Yeah, so definitely the Australian winter quite harsh. People have their heaters on now, and our skin's getting a little bit dehydrated. So the best possible thing for skin hydration is such a simple one. It's water. And so I've been encouraging a lot of people to get into a good water intake regime at home. The other things that are so great for skin dryness and hydration and that kind of skin barrier is all your essential fatty acids. So that's things like extra virgin olive oil, oily seafood like salmon and mackerel and sardines and things like that. All your sort of nuts and seeds, so walnuts, chia seeds, hemp seeds, things that are really rich in zinc. So pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, oysters. You can eat as many oysters as you want. They are so good for you. They're great for skin clearing. So that's a really great one. But also, I'm encouraging everyone to be, really looking after their skin regime while they're still at home. So still using your topical support, that's really important. But the other thing as well that also reflects through your skin is your gut health and digestion. So if your digestion is out of whack, that can reflect in your skin too. So working on gut health always improves skin health too.
And so you've still been working this whole time through virtually with patients. Are there any other kind of common things that you have seen pop up that people might find relevant?
Yeah, so you've mentioned a lot of them.
So yeah, you were saying how there's some positives come out of it, which is really nice. And I think the fact that, people have like slowed down and had a bit more time to kind of settle in with their, a little bit more of a slower lifestyle.
Definitely. And I think as well, a lot of people do have, used to have not a fantastic work-life balance. And I think people are getting that a little bit more and realizing that they've got more time to focus on their health and that might become sort of a non-negotiable going forward. And I think that's an incredible thing to come out of all of this. And I think that it's so important because, naturopaths and nutritionists, we're all about preventative health.
I always looked at it as like building credits for the future. So the more you look after yourself now, the better it'll be down the track.
Absolutely. And that's definitely correct.
What are some things that people could start doing to begin their own health journey if they're not feeling 100% or performing at 100%?
Yeah, that's such a great question. I think the best thing to start doing is start tracking it properly. So whether that's creating a diet diary or I like to use diet and symptom diary. So writing down everything that you're eating in a day and then circling or writing down any symptoms that you're experiencing. And then you start to track it over the week and you can start to sort of make some connections to potentially something in your diet creating some sort of symptom. But then also, there's so many incredible, recipes and ebooks and blogs online written by, qualified health practitioners that you can, read on the internet for free. That's really, really helpful as well. People like myself are always replying to DMs and emails and things like that without consults.
For me, one of the biggest things has been about just sticking to it. It can take a bit of time for your body to respond to new changes, and it's easy to kind of be like, all right, well, I've done that for a few weeks, not really working or seeing great benefits, I'm just going to stop. But really, a lot of these things I found can take quite a few months of commitment and focus. Yeah,
definitely. And that's the thing for absolutely things like skin issues. They can take sort of 2 or 3 months to see great improvement. Gut health and digestion take some time. Sleep obviously can take some time. But then there's some things that happen really quickly. So yeah, it is definitely about being patient and sticking to a plan.
Amazing. Well, there was a lot of informative stuff in that.
Thanks so much, Tess.
No worries. Bye, guys. Bye.